Welcome grade 5 to your first unit in English Word Level 5. This is lesson 1. Our unit is entitled A Journey to Adventure. A Journey to Adventure. First, I want you to listen to the coming passage and then read it.
Reading. Escape from the Fire. Chapter 1. Grandad. Robert was excited. He was going to stay with his grandfather at the weekend. Lucy, his cousin, was going to stay too. She was the same age as Robert, and they were good friends. While Robert was packing his bag, the telephone rang noisily. Robert answered it. It was Lucy. "I hope we have a great weekend," said Lucy. "So do I," said Robert. "It's always good fun at Grandad's." While Robert was travelling on the bus, he thought about Grandad. There were two things about him that Robert and Lucy really liked. First, he was very, very clever. He was an inventor. He invented lots of things, but mostly he invented new kinds of mobile phones. The other thing they liked was that Grandad loved history. His house was full of history books. When Robert and Lucy came to stay, Grandad told them exciting stories from history. The cousins loved the stories because they were true. They loved Grandad's tales of explorers who used to sail across the oceans and travel across deserts to distant lands. Robert knocked on Grandad's door. Mrs. Green, the maid, opened it. "Hello, Robert," she said. "Come in." "Hello, Mrs. Green," Robert said. "How are you?" "I'm fine," said Mrs. Green. She took his bag from him. "Your grandfather is in his study." Robert hurried into Grandad's study. "Hello, Grandad," he began. Then he stopped in surprise. Grandad was sitting in an armchair. There was a big bandage on his foot. "Grandad, what happened?" Robert asked. "I've hurt my ankle," Grandad said. "The doctor says I mustn't walk on it for a few days." "Poor Grandad. Does it hurt? I'll help you, and so will Lucy. Where is she? Has she arrived yet?" Grandad looked worried. "I'm not sure," he said. "I think she has disappeared." "Disappeared?" said Robert. "What do you mean?" Grandad leaned towards him and whispered, "I think she has travelled back in time." Chapter 2. The Time Travel Phones. Robert looked at Grandad, amazed. "How could Lucy have travelled back in time?" he asked. Grandad showed him a mobile phone. "Look at this," he said. "This is not an ordinary phone. This is my newest invention." Robert thought the mobile phone looked ordinary. "What's special about it?" he asked. "Do you promise not to tell anyone?" "Not even Lucy?" "Lucy knows already." "Not even Mum and Dad?" "I'll tell them soon." "OK. So what does it do?" asked Robert. "With this mobile phone, you can travel back in time. Wow! Robert exclaimed. Can you really do that? Grandad nodded proudly. I've worked on this invention for 2 years, he said. It's ready now. Robert's eyes widened. How does it work? Let me show you. You put in the date you want to visit. Then you put in the place you want to visit. Then you put in the password. Adventure. Did you tell Lucy this? Yes, and now one of the time travel phones is missing. How many time travel phones have you made? Robert asked. 4. Grandad shook his head. I'm worried, Robert. I think Lucy has used the missing phone to travel back in time. Wow! Robert exclaimed. Where do you think she has gone?
Now after you listened to the passage, and you should have read it, now we will learn the new vocab you read in that passage. The first word is maid. Maid means a woman servant. A woman servant. A servant is someone who helps doing things, who serves people. Inventor. Inventor is someone who designs and makes new things, like your phone. There is an inventor that invented your phone. The laptop, the computer, all these inventions have their inventors. Armchair. An armchair is a comfortable chair with sides that support your arm. Like the chairs in your home, you can find an armchair with sides that support your arm. You can rest your arm on those sides. Ankle. The ankle is the bottom part of the leg above the foot. Bandage. What is a bandage? This is a bandage. It's something that covers the injury. Something that covers the injury, so it doesn't get polluted. The word event. Event is something that happens. Something that happens. Grandad. Grandad means grandfather. You can say to your grandfather, "Hi, Grandad." Noisily. Noisily is an adverb. The adjective is noisy. So noisily means making a lot of noise. Making a lot of noise. Nod. Nod means to move head up and down. It means acceptance. You accept this thing, so you move your head up and down. Setting means a place where the story happens. So we have a setting in the story that you read before. Now let's practice. We want to choose the correct answer. We have 5 questions. With each question, we have 3 choices. First one, he is injured. There is a big when someone is injured. What do we put on the injury? An armchair, bandage, or an adventure? There is a big bandage on his foot. Your phone isn't modern, or isn't special, or isn't ordinary. It's the newest invention. It's the newest invention, so it's not ordinary. The mouse escaped for or from or away the cat. The mouse escaped from the cat. Don't be late, you should come at time or on time or in time. You should come on time. We are going to Spain on a holiday. It's a big chapter, or kind, or a surprise. It's a big surprise.